What's going on, guys? Got another Diablo 3 build video for you. This one is actually going to be a boss kind of build, basically for single targets, anything like that. I've used this build, I've changed it for every boss that I've done, and it really helps out. So let's dive right in. Let's start with the passive skills. Of course, this is pretty much a staple for all witch doctors. You really need Spirit Vessel, especially on the higher difficulties. Right now I'm like maybe a third into hell, and this has been working out for me really well on bosses especially. So Spirit Vessel reduces the cooldown of Horrify, Spirit Walk, and Soul Harvest by 2 seconds, and basically if you die, it'll put you into Spirit Walk basically for 3 seconds, gets 10% of your health back, but you can only do it once every 90 seconds. So if you can survive for a minute and a half after you kind of die, then you can basically keep it going forever. And second, I have Pierce the Veil, which will increase all damage by 20%, and all mana costs are increased by 30%. I'll tell you why I use this later on when I get into the skills, but this is very important. And of course, Jungle Fortitude, to reduce all damage taken by you and your pets by 20%. And the reason I don't have Vision Quest is, well, you'll see why. My pure offensive attack, you'll see in the end. Okay, so my main offensive skill is Poison Dart with Splinters. This is a really cheap attack, and it's very strong against single enemies. You shoot 3 darts that do 60% weapon damage as poison. But basically, when you're using this with Big Bad Voodoo, if you're standing in the circle, it increases your attack speed and movement speed by 20%, along with Slam Dance, which increases your damage by 30%. Doing Splinters while in the Big Bad Voodoo in the circle, you can basically fire off what's almost automatic poison darts, so you can really get a lot of damage out of that. Next, I have the Fetish Army, Legion of Daggers. This is basically every 120 seconds you can use this. It's basically not so much for damage, but just to kind of get the attention away from you, just so you can kind of have some breathing room. So I would use Fetish Army, send all the fetishes to go and kill the boss, whatever. Then I'd back up, throw down Big Bad Voodoo, and then just start launching poison darts while the boss is trying to kill the Fetish Army. You stand in the Voodoo circle and just launch poison darts, and the boss shouldn't bother you. Sometimes they'll charge through, but a lot of the time it'll give you enough time to get some good damage off. And then of course you have your Spirit Walk and Soul Harvest, which are pretty much staples for a witch doctor, especially past normal difficulty. Spirit Walk I chose instead of the Honored Guest. I chose Healing Journey, so basically you can recover health if you need to. Like if you really need to get away, you'll regain 7% of your health every second while in Spirit Walk. And you can also use this to go into Soul Harvest to buff up, and as well to get some more health back. And then now for last skill, we have Hex with Hedge Magic. So what this does, it'll summon a Fetish Shaman. Some bosses, or some mini bosses actually, can be turned into chickens, which will give you even more leeway. And it'll also heal you every once in a while for a really good chunk of your life. So here we have 3 really defensive skills, and all of them will heal you, so you shouldn't, like, I haven't even had to use potions in any of the bosses, like the Butcher on Hell and anything. I haven't had to use potions, because Spirit Walk, Soul Harvest, and Hex have been keeping me healed pretty much. And then my 3 offensive skills here have been giving me a really good damage output. So yeah, that's pretty much that part of the build. So now I'm going to show a slight modification. Well, yeah, see, Pierce the Veil, let me explain this now anyway. So Pierce the Veil is because you use this because the mana costs increased by 30% are not going to matter when your poison darts only cost, what, like 9 mana. So there's no point in using Vision Quest because you don't need that much mana for something like poison darts, and Pierce the Veil will increase your damage by 20% for something that's really low mana. Even if you're not going to be able to constantly fire this off, so there's no way you're going to run out of mana even if you have really horrible mana regen. So that's the reasoning behind Pierce the Veil. And yeah, so that is that build. So now I'm going to show a slight variation of it. If you really don't like having pets or something else like that, or you don't think they're really effective, you can also go with a secondary skill here. I like to use Haunt because it does damage over time. Like you can launch this and then run away, so you don't have to be standing still shooting the enemy. So with this one, it's really a choice between Consuming Spirit to return some life, or Resentful Spirit, which does a little extra damage. So you can, if you feel like these 3 healing skills aren't enough, you can go ahead and put the healing one on if you really think that you want to use this for healing, or if you just want some extra damage while you're running away, go with Resentful Spirit. I've also found this to be very useful. Lingering Spirit and Grasping Spirit are really, there's no point in using them for bosses, and this is a boss build. So I would go with Resentful Spirit because I already have 3 healing skills, and then so now we have 2 main offensive skills plus a kind of buff to get you to launch the poison darts a lot faster. And same skills here. Even though Haunt costs a lot of mana, you're not going to be firing this off as much as you're going to be firing off the poison darts. It is 92 mana, but still, you're going to be increasing your damage. You're not going to be launching this that much. Your mana regen should easily be able to catch up. So yeah, that is my kind of boss build. I wish I could show you guys some of it in action, but right now, if I'm recording, my frames per second is like 15, so my laptop is pretty much on life support when I'm recording and doing all this stuff. So yeah, you're gonna have to try this for yourself and trust me on this one, but it's a really good build. It's helped me a lot, so yeah, hopefully it helped you guys out. So yeah, see you later.